Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. The fundamentals of code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things. Well, hello, Cryptopians, Hexicans, Crypto Pirates. Welcome to Chattin With The Captain. I'm your captain, Captain RG3 from the Hex community. Just wanted to turn on our stream and first of all say, you motherfuckers have lost your minds. All of you Hexicans out there have absolutely lost your goddamn minds. Whew, Twitter is ablaze with some weird shit. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. You guys are getting weirder and weirder. It's the PulseChain. I'm telling you, it's the PulseChain. We didn't have this when we just had Hex. We had a grifter, an asshole, you know, some simps, a couple hot chicks trying to make their way. We've had all that stuff before, but not like we've got now. We've got absolute insanity going on. Absolute insanity. So, I'd rather just turn off Twitter for a while, to be honest. But unfortunately, that's where all of us people communicate. So can't really turn it off. So we'll have to endure it. So a couple of things. We're going to be streaming with some people that are OGs in the community. Some relationships that I have with these guys, or we're friends and we've worked together on projects here in the Hex community. And I want everybody to understand what this is about and what what a lot of my streams lately have been about. And it's about showcasing and putting on the record people who are building on PulseChain, and to educate people about Hex, because I still believe that Hex on both chains is the only crypto that's worth anything out there. I had a argument with well, not an argument. We had a disagreement with the gentleman I was on stream with on Saturday night. He seems to think that Richard has said that Hex is not the one to buy. Don't buy it. You're an idiot if you buy it. And that Hex is the way he killed his old thing to save his new. And I don't believe that to be true from Richard's statement. Everybody read into it and put their own narrative on it. And yeah, that's your problem if you put that narrative on it. And Richard will tell you so too. He's always said that he wants Hex to be valuable on both chains. But the Ethereum chain's broken, and we all know it. They know it. Whole crypto community knows it. So to say that there should have been some misunderstanding about what Richard said is, I don't know. I think it's ludicrous. And you guys are making your own way, making your own bed, whatever. Now, we've got people on all sides of this thing right now that are trying to build, and PulseChain's a very compelling place to want to do so. It works, first of all. It's inexpensive, so people can build. So we're going to get a lot of builders, and we're going to get a lot of people that make mistakes. We're going to get a lot of people that get lazy, or they're inept, or they didn't learn enough, or they just missed something, or some outside circumstance makes their product not work, or nefarious actors from outside of that project see an exploit and exploit it. Don't be so quick to judge these people putting these products out. If you guys treated Edison like you guys treat these crypto or these guys developing, we wouldn't have light bulbs right now. That's for goddamn sure. Philip felt thousands and thousands of times before we come up with a light bulb, guys. So give these guys the benefit of the doubt. Now, if you go and stick your wallet into their thing, that's your fault for sticking your wallet into things. It's your fault. You click on a link, you stick your wallet in something, you invest in something, you over leverage yourself into something. That's on you. That's on you. Because remember, you've got lazy people, dumb people, um, people that don't understand, people that are inept. You've got a lot of different people out there building projects. And some of them are going to make money off of it, even though they are all of those things. But if you take the risk of getting involved in this high risk asset class called crypto, and then you go to the cutting edge of the high risk asset class and start gambling on those people doing it right and doing it right now, that's on you. That's on you. But don't be so quick to go out and call people scammers. Especially, I wouldn't be putting my stuff out there on the chopping block to get it chopped off from people who know better than you. Look, a lot of these people that are making these things, a lot of these people in the background that are having issues and stuff, they're people I know. And I know they're not trying to harm anybody, but they may have made some mistakes. So I think that this community needs to slow down a little bit, back off of stifling innovation. You're acting just like the SEC. Let them do their thing. Let them fail. Let them prove that they can succeed. And watch them. Watch them. Look, every single lazy person, scammer, shouldn't have built a project, dummy, everything has come through this show. And still some of you will go, oh no, RG promoted it. No, I didn't. I gave them a voice. I put it on the record and I let them go out and hang themselves. I don't invest in all these things. I would only invest in things that I really know who's behind them or I'm involved with helping them with it. That's the only time I would invest. I'd be very, very careful about all these things. So with that all being said, we've got another thing going on out there that needs to be addressed, and it should be addressed. And probably most of you won't listen to me because most of you are immature little assholes. For those of you who support the show and or who are there now, I know that that's not you. And thank you for supporting the show and thank you for supporting us. But if this is resonating with some of you out there, the Captain Save-A plebs that think that you're the freaking PulseChain Hex community Richard Hart police, put your fucking badge away and your radio. Because you guys don't need to be out there trying to save anybody because half of you don't know what the fuck you're talking about or what you're doing. Look, we've got maxis and then we've got grifters. And I'm going to tell you right now, there is no good side right now. There is no good side. The people that are staying out of it and leaving people alone and letting everything just happen, that's the only good people out there. The rest of you all just fucking things up. Looking like fools, making the community look like fools. Even some of you built your own communities are starting to look like goddamn fools. I'm telling you, guys got to wise up. Crypto's watching. 0 hours here. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring two people up. But first, I'm going to explain their pedigree. So the first person I'm going to talk about real quick he's a friend of mine. We've come close over the last few years. He helped me in the early days setting up some of the stuff for the show. Encouraged me to keep doing it. Not that I was ever going to stop. Just sometimes I just want to just step away, but I never will because that's what my detractors want is for me to step away for whatever reason it is. But I'll keep sticking around and helping build. But anyway, he also comes with a pedigree of working for multiple top tier, high level gaming companies. Systemic designer with a brain that is hard to grasp for most people. Sometimes he can get out there and trying to explain things like what's going to be explained to you this evening. He explained this kind of stuff to me probably 4 years ago, and it went over my head, and I just kind of like laughed it off or whatever. And a lot of you have done that, to be honest. A lot of you come out chat rooms and done that, but this guy stuck around, kept trying to teach me what was going on. And you guys all know him as Crypto Kool-Aid. And I'll bring him up. I'm bringing both up together. The other gentleman is like one of those behind the scenes guys that was around for a long time and really made his way trying to understand what was going on in the Hedron Icosa era. And those guys were all very, very, very brilliant minded people in there. I understood the project a little. Alex and I had a relationship, and I was rooting for him. Looked like a good thing. Wrapping steaks was a good thing. And then there was all kinds of game theory going on behind it. Well, I guess in the mix of that, these two guys got together, Crypto Kool-Aid and Gifford. His tech that he's built is called GIFFORDwear, and we're going to talk about it in depth and what's going on. But these two guys have also come to me, and we put a team together to help put these projects together and put them out to you guys, to the Hexkins, and build on them. And we're going to explain the whole process of how it happened and what got built, and then we'll take some questions from the chat room, and we'll let them go at it so you guys can ask them questions. So without any further sailing here, let's pull up the GIF and the Kool-Aid. What is happening, gentlemen?
What's going on, everyone?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So do you care where people know where you're at right now? GIF?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You wouldn't even be able to see anything. The dark hotel room in Mexico right now, guys. So sorry.
Yes.
It's not intentional. You can find lots of video of me online. Actually, probably on.
He's already running
a little while ago. Yeah, already on the run. No,
he's already on the run. He hasn't even announced what he's doing yet.
I'll tell you what. After working with GIF now, it's been almost 3 years, buddy. It's been almost 3 years. You deserve a goddamn vacation after what you've done. You deserve a vacation. So props to you on taking one. And yeah, we're all here. Got some coming for vacation, some coming from the Pulsar pathway spaceship. But yeah, we're all here. And thank you, Cap, for having us.
You're welcome. Nobody knows what the Pulsar pathway spaceship is yet. We're gonna find out, I guess. So anyway, I'm gonna really butcher what you guys have done, and I'm gonna let you guys correct me, because I think that's the best thing to do. So let me go out there and butcher it and tell them what you guys have put together, and then you guys can give me the appalled questions or answer the questions that are going to end up being missed here. So what these two gentlemen did is they looked at the protocols that are out there that allow you to manipulate with code the markets and value and inflation and all these things. Like what Hex was the first concept to be proven by an immutable contract that you can make better money, and you can make a better money product. And it was a very simple traditional product that is called the certificate of deposit,
or proof of time, if you will, sir.
Oh boy, here we go already. Are we going to go like that, Kool-Aid, or am I going to have to slap you? So that's what Hex did. Is it was a proof of time crypto where all you did was you staked it just like a CD. Very simple product. But now there's all kinds of things out there. There's market sentiment. There are stocks that you can't pick up because they've been locked away for so long. There's all kinds of different things in the world that aren't programmed into the money. They're unknowables. They're variables. There are things that can happen in the market or can't happen in the market. But what we found with Hex is that now we can program these things into our money. And people like Kool-Aid and GIF have decided to take those things that you can manipulate and put them into code so you can look at it and know exactly what it's going to do, and launch it. And now only possible because PulseChain makes it cheap and easy and effective for you to go out and build stuff. So that's what they're doing. They've done that. So the tech that they just built, and here's another cool thing. They didn't they didn't go out and just say, hey, we're going to launch a coin. This is how you do it. You sacrifice for it, or it's an ICO, or none of that stuff. They turned it into a value creation token, and they did it in real time. It's literally out there now and nobody knows about it. They didn't promote it. They just went and built it and made sure it worked. Let people find it, made a couple Telegram rooms with people that wanted to be in the Telegram room. They didn't go out and spam anybody or try and drag people into the room and stick them in it or any of that stuff. They literally, by, you know, just going out and doing the work and people being interested in what they're doing, built their protocol and launched it to see if the proof of concept works. And it's been working, and it's been working for over a month now, over a month. And it's called GIF and PGIF. And basically what you do, and I'm gonna give you the easy, simple one, and then I'll let these guys talk. So you take your GIF token, which is, you know, just your typical meme token, but could represent any token, really, to be honest. So you take this token, this GIF token that was created, just a meme coin, and you inject it into a system. You go to the front end of the website, you inject it into the system. And then you take Pulse, the gas token of the chain that it's operating on, right? And you inject those two together at a 10-to-1 ratio, 10 GIF to 1 Pulse, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. And so those go into the system, however many you want, of course, but that's the ratio. Now, when you do that, it spits out this token called PGIF at the same ratio with GIF. You get the GIF PGIF for the GIF. The GIF token is burned. Helps the value of the GIF token, right? Because it was burned, it's gone, it's no longer in circulation. So automatically that starts to create some type of a scarcity model, right? So then, boom, the GIF token's gone. Well, what happens to the Pulse, you say, right? So the Pulse goes in, and after it's created from burning the GIF, it creates the PGIF. It goes in and market buys the PGIF with that went in. So you injected the Pulse, goes in, makes a market buy. Therefore, the token that you just minted goes up in value because somebody bought it off the market, and also burns that token that it bought off the market. So now you've created more scarcity with the token that you just created, and you just created a token. There was no airdrop. There was no adoption amplifier. There was no fair mint. There was none of that stuff. It was value going in, a token coming out, and then everything benefiting because of it. PulseChain benefiting from the movement and the volume. Even the DEX is happy. PGIF's happy because it burned some. It's a win-win-win-win-win all the way around to create this token. Now insert any token you want in that and imagine the possibilities. So now I'm going to let these two guys talk about and punch holes in what I just said. And thank you guys for not correcting me right away. This is like the first time I've ever been in a room with some smart guys that haven't stopped me from talking and said, "Shut up, idiot. We got this." So go ahead, guys. You can do it now. And I didn't mute you. They muted themselves. I'm very proud of them. Thanks.
My dear friend, you slay your reference and how you explain it. You do exceptionally well because, I mean, you've dealt with me, Captain Metaphor, for almost 4 years now. And it's funny, but like once you understand the him and the haws on how those things come together, you can understand the wherewithal and how it's built together. And I mean, for me, hardly anyone understood me back in the olden days. And it wasn't until Gifford and I got together that I knew that someone could translate Larry and speak it simply, which is even better because he actually can explain what I can see as an oracle going forward and seeing all the tenements on how all these things work together into a practical, codable utility and solution. So again, Giff, this is your floor. So what do you got to say, my friend?
I mean, you guys are killing it. Like, yeah. The only thing I would add is that it's a 10 PLS per GIF on the
gotcha. I said it
creation
backwards.
side. You're all good. Everything else is spot on. So yeah, and this is something that, you know, we just started experimenting on. And, you know, our Telegram group is less than 200 members, I believe, still. I essentially created it, and all the guys that work with me on a regular basis joined in right away. And all the guys that I've talked to over the last going on 3 years now, a lot of the guys who do front end work for Hex, a lot of the streamers that I've talked to a lot, you know, with about Hedron Icosa, they're all jumped in there. It's funny, some of the new guys who've just kind of recently started talking to me, they're like, "Wow, look at all these big names like in this room, like the streaming core of members in here." And it's like, yeah, and they're just flies on the wall. They're just in there. They're just watching what we're doing. They're listening to the chats. You know, it's a small group, but it's open to everybody. You know, anybody can come in here and join and ask some good questions, and we're there to talk. Ain't that right, Larry? What's our motto on that room? As long as it's like, you know, I had to you know, bring it up a little bit today, but as long as we're relating it to either Pulsar or GIF or PGIF or what we may be building in the future, as long as it's somewhat, you know, uh, uh, relevant, that we're open to talk about anything. You know, we're not going to ban anybody. We're not going to shut anybody down for having ideas. But yeah, Larry, go ahead. You do a better job than me explaining that part.
well, first I'd like to talk on that ratio that we're talking about. So the one thing that we started with Pulsar is looking at flat ratios and why that's important. Flat ratios are so important when you look at the scalability of things. So we started that with Pulsar. We can get to that later because what we wanted to do is actually prove a concept in real time. No SAC, no problem, air quote, experimental tech. Get involved if you like. But what we're doing is we're building experimental tech in real time. We're saying that, yeah, maybe experimental tech, but we're not stupiders. We're not someone that haven't thought ahead. And what we're doing is setting the ground for flat ratios. What do you get when a flat ratio is? You get bedrock, you get a cornerstone, you get a keystone. All of those are important. But what GIF is also talking about in our Telegram is that most people ban anyone that wants to talk about anything. I mean, the captain pulled me out of the wet work in the beginning where I hated crypto, even though I was an ICO influencer back in 17. I saw a blue collar man that had the same idiom of an ideal that who I was, and he brought me on as his camera tech back in the day. And we want a healthy Discord. That's why we put our sand into Discord Syndicate back in the day, because we want a Discord to be able to help people talk, find their voice, and come up together. It's what we've all wanted. And so when we built GIF Tech, which is the backbone of Pulsar, the backbone of iBurn, which is the burn protocol for icosahedron, we want you to come in and ask questions. The only thing we ask is just don't be rude. Be a proper adult and come in with want of value. And we want to share that want of value with you across the board, from the people that may not understand me, the ones that may understand the code from GIF's end, to we've got some great mods like Elite and Mo and all the rest of the people that are sharing and helping bring all of this back together instead of the toxicity. And that's what Captain was talking about in the beginning. Is there's a lot of, if you look at like The Network, which is a movie back in the day, when it's like, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take this anymore. There's a lot of that. We're all frustrated, but how do we bring it and come the wherewithal back together to come to a cornerstone and anchor? And I think between all of us, that's what we all want for Crypto for All. DeFi for All is that wherewithal on how do we pull that forward?
Yeah. So with that being said, let's go ahead and so the other than, you know, the mixing the 10 to 1 backwards, and now, and then when I was saying it, I thought I was wrong too. It's 10 pulse to 1 GIF. Those go in, and it still is 1 GIF to 1 PGIF, right? That's so I was right there.
Correct.
That's the only difference. There's already a question, and I want to address this one right off the bat, because I can give my explanation of why, but I want you guys to maybe get even deeper if there is any deeper meaning here. But True Moxie says, can you explain the liquidity pool setup? There's 17K bid support and 200K ask. Makes now no sense to me. True Moxie, I think that the reason you're just seeing organic, there's nobody set up anything. We just started running the protocol, and that is the end result of just running the protocol. There was no setting up anything, right, guys?
Yeah, 100. So let me take that before Gabe gets in, because he comes in with the heavy hitters. Before we even announced, I think it was when I was on, me and GIF were on with Hexray Vision, and then we jumped over to Crypto Compassion for me on a supplement stream. That was the first time we even acknowledged that GIF even existed. And the PGIF contract, I think it launched that day, but it didn't have a front end for 2 weeks. So before even the front end was there, The Mo, shout out to the Mo. He gave a tutorial video on how to use the buy and burn contract. And within a week, it was the 5th largest token holder holding through the debt address. And that's without an easy peasy, one click, lemon squeezy way to get through it. And what we're trying to do with that is that there are no founder tokens here. There are no, everyone that's providing liquidity is for themselves for DeFi or for all. And when they pull a liquidity, for example, if they're using PLS to cash out like a proper adult, because we're trying to also encourage you not only to learn how to build liquidity pools properly together, but how to take your profits correctly, right? We want to show by example on how to do things correctly and teach the entire village how to do things within a different paradigm. That's not a pump and dump. That's not a meme. That's not some joke. These are.
So could you answer this question directly though? So that he has a direct answer?
Yeah. So Giff, go ahead.
Yeah. So the direct answer is simply this. There was a couple months where the token was essentially dumped onto the market for anybody to buy, a very large amount of it. And there were some early people who had seen the token launch. And believe it or not, there's a few people out there who actually know my handle name, and it launched as my handle name. And I had a few people reaching out just confirming that this is for sure my token that
They
I had
found
launched.
it. Basically, they
Yeah,
found it.
they found it, and
They opened the closet door and there it was.
yeah. So this is all of crypto. This entire thing is all experiment, right? So this is also a very interesting thing that happened. That some early investors came in and they interacted with the smart contract, right, and picked up a bunch of gift tokens, and they've been holding it. And it appears that a few of them have set up some 9mm V3 liquidity plays to exit parts of their positions without hurting the price chart.
Oh,
So
well, kind of.
the only way that that could really happen is you set it one-sided, right, on 9mm, and then as the price kind of pumps through your range, you then withdraw the liquidity. So then that explains why there's so much more value on the ask side than the bid side. Now that
God.
being said, a lot of the early community as well made an attempt to create some, standard PulseX V2 liquidity. I saw that there were some people on Fux making new liquidity pools over there as well. So this is an interesting thing. It's kind of a new thing for founders to be in charge of like creating liquidity pools and then like telling the whole community not to create any more liquidity pools and they should only be run one certain way. And I'm just like, yo, come on, guys. This is crypto. Anybody can create a liquidity pool anywhere. At any given time, somebody can come in and swipe up all that gift token that's on the ask side and then create their own liquidity pools at a different range, right? Like there's nothing stopping anybody from doing anything. And I'm for sure not one to want to be in charge of any sort of large liquidity pool
Well, we've
that's
seen
set out
what's
there that
happened
cause different.
when they've
Yeah,
done that, right?
exactly right. Exactly right.
So that's so good. So you're kind of taking the doubt out of, hey, is this thing going to rug? No, it's building. The liquidity is being pumped in on its own. There's no big, tranche of coins being thrown out there to just be able to dump on. It's actually being created. The PGIF token is actually being created, and it's, I guess, true value is being seen on the liquidity pools. Is that kind of how you can
Yeah.
explain it?
And let me just throw out one more real quick thing. So depending on where you're looking and where you're getting your numbers, also keep in mind that when you pull up Deck Screener and you go to say the largest liquidity pool, right? And you
Mhm.
look at that and you say, okay, we'll use our example there. We'll say there's 200,000 on the sell side and 17,000 on the buy side. That doesn't represent the entirety of the liquidity. Like surely you understand that there's it's only looking at that particular pool. And then there's also the PulseX V2 I talked about. There used to be a V1. I just talked about the Flux, which doesn't even register with Deck Screener. So, you know, if you want to find out exactly how much bid support there is, you need to actually do the legwork and go through and find all the numbers and add them all up, and then present that as this is all the bid support you have. Hopefully that makes sense.
So True Moxie getting a little harder on his question here. Let me throw it back out there. So they don't understand that they trapped the price and scared off educated investors who analyze LP before buying some. Do you understand that question?
Yeah,
or
he's
it's
not.
actually a statement, not a question.
It's just a statement. He's not even waiting for an answer. It's cool.
Okay. So do you disagree with that? Do you have something to say about that?
Well, yeah, no, you know, it's just like what I said. He's going off of one pool. He's looking at one pool, and he's not
Gotcha. You've
looking at
already
all
addressed
the
it, dude.
pools combined. Yeah, and the combined
Gotcha.
price. Like if you know, it's a little, it's frustrating because I want to see this community actually get educated, and LP, like the whole liquidity providing right now in crypto, is really getting its day in the sunshine, right? Like there's it's like all day, every day, you hear people accusing other people of not understanding LP. And then they do things like this and they throw out numbers that are just, it's like, bro, you didn't even like spend like 5 minutes. You took 30 seconds on this one. And then
Okay.
you throw out and say these people don't understand LP. It's like,
But
it's wild. Come on, guys. You could come
I,
into the room, we could all talk, and I could show you guys how all this works.
Well, the one
yeah,
thing I'll say is like again, sure, Moxie's a renter in here. He's one of our family, but like
yeah.
anyone who has ever heard me ramble over the last 4 bloody years
We've all
may
heard you
get
ramble, man.
I know more. But like they may only get like 5 words every 10,000, but eventually you get 300. Then you get a couple paragraphs. Then you're actually seeing how it worked. Like I talked way back when 180 days into Hex, I was like, what we need to do is bind a fucking trading card game, bind it to a T-share, and until Alex made an HSI available and the bondability of wrap stakes wasn't even a conversation. It was just a figment of an imagination. It was just an idea through proxy. And a lot of people have problems winding those things together. It's not that they're not smart. It's not that they're not educated. It's just sometimes you need to expand that paradigm into the conversation. And that's why, like within the Pulsar Telegram and the Gift Tech Telegram, we welcome good conversation. Please come in. Me or someone else will welcome these conversations where we can kind of break down these idioms for you. So that way you get more biteable chunks rather than speculation. Most people, when they look at something as a sticker, they're only looking at the wrapper on the car, even though everyone will tell you don't judge a book by its cover. They're not still understanding that as they go backwards in time or forwards in time to understand how these wrappers are done. So again, tip to you, Moxie, but like, please come in and have a more in-depth conversation, because when you're talking about educated investors, we don't need investors. We need educated people. And that's probably the most important thing, is that when you have more educated people, they have more wherewithal to do with what they do, whether they invest, don't invest, please don't invest. All the rest of those type of things, because we're trying to build future tech here, and future tech requires future ideals on how you want to embody that kind of wrapper on top of that. Giff, you're better at speaking simple air than I am.
So I let me jump in here, because I have been watching you guys do this the whole time and supporting it in the background. So I want to give that disclaimer to everybody that because these two gentlemen are friends of mine, they asked me to come in and help do some analysis myself on how they're presenting this. So I am helping. And also, when they first launched this, I got to go in and literally learn how to interact with a contract without a one-click, front end. And it was scary as all hell trying to figure it all out. What do they call the protocol that we use to actually interact with the contract again? What's it called?
Giff, you want
the Block Explorer?
The Block Explorer. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the Block Explorer, which is you know, and I've heard a lot of techs say this, and I'm not one to say it because I don't know, let's just say it's finicky, it's fickle, it's quirky. Right now, it's kind of like it's difficult to work with. So there were all kinds of little bugs and stuff that I had to deal with, and scared the hell out of me because I thought I was the one screwing it all up all the time. Half the time I was screwing it up myself, but I did. I learned how to interact with a contract through the Explorer. It was very cool. It was a very cool experience.
Yeah, but I mean, you did that back in 2017 when you were dealing with Mew, my Ether wallet, back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was
well, and there was what was the DEX back in the day that we dealt with in 2017 during the ICO pumps? Ether Delta. It was Ether Delta. And if you didn't have to actually punch in your contract to figure out how to claim it, if you had 1 0 off buy tokens, you're gone. So it was kind of cool to go from 2017 that we did this, but it wasn't like part of the family, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. To now being
that's like, how you got your ICO coins out too. You just have to go in, interact with the contract, and
it was so cool that first week because I did my one, but I didn't want to do it to like I wanted other people to play, right? Because I knew it existed. I wanted other people to play with it. I did my round. Cappy did his couple rounds. All of us did our rounds. But it was cool to see it that like
it's like, wow, we created a token out of thin
SCI, smart contract integration. That's one of our pillars in between Pulsar. I mean, if you read the Pulsar white paper, but remember anything in the Pulsar white paper, or if you wrap it back down, Gift Tech is the underlying parable of all of that. So if you have to have a white paper, do that and then rip out the paradigm. But smart contract integration is what we believe in. We believe that you have the freedom to interact with a smart contract and do with you what you wherewithal. Now, granted, we're going to make good front ends for it, clearly. But at the end of the day, the core is you interact with the smart contract for your own wherewithal to bring this fruition to your own ability, right? And that's what being fully decentralized and a fully decentralized blockchain, a full decentralized mentality is actually about.
Sure. Got it. So, okay. So that was the proof of concept. It's obviously working. It's obviously seeing people interact with it, people buying the token, people putting up liquidity, people selling it. We're seeing the whole thing work in real time, without any hype, without any big money being introduced to it, without any big amounts of tokens coming into it. So it's working. So let's talk about the first iteration of how you're going to bring this to market, because my guess is, well, obviously, because we're going to really be announcing what you guys are going to do with it. This can be used to create this loop with any token. And I remember, and I want you guys to address this also. I remember Richard Hart saying it was stupid to burn coins. And I asked that question to you guys too, because, I don't understand all the nuances of what goes on with every tech that's out there in this space. But I wanted to ask that question. You guys kind of answered me as to, it's not burning the tokens, it's how you burn those tokens. It's important because obviously Richard himself has introduced a burn mechanism for PulseX. So I want to go over that in a second, but let's give True Moxie one more shot here, just because I think he's talking to himself here, or talking to us. I'm not trying to fight anything here. Just trying to understand. I'm also trying to put 3 kids to bed while watching this. I'll analyze LP all the time and normally have 15 to 25 LPs set up at all times. Okay. So Moxie's telling us he's an LPer, and cool. Hey, Moxie, make sure you get into. Would you guys announce the name of the Telegram room that you want them to go to?
No worries. And I've been responding to him directly in the chat. So
okay, good. So
he's gonna hop in. Yeah, he's gonna.
We'll put the Telegram link down below too. SJ will make sure we have the Telegram link to the GIFFORDwear Telegram room. Just put it in the private chat so she has it too.
Yes, sir. 1 second.
So thanks, True Moxie. And yeah, these guys will be glad to answer questions and all that. And like I said, this is just a proof of concept here. There was no real try to make some kind of a coin that is off into the races. But the PGIF token, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is actually a base layer coin for anything else you might want to do in the future, right?
Infrastructure. So Pulsar technically is an infrastructure layer between two L1s. Now we tried to build.
We're not talking about Pulsar.
No. Yeah, well, Gift Tech is theoretically a builder layer within our own infrastructure.
No,
right?
no. Larry, go back to what I said, which was the PGIF token that is being minted in the process that I just said is part of the it's not just some random coin that's being created. There is a reason for it, correct?
Absolutely. Circular.
That's all I wanted to hear. I don't want to
Absolutely.
go back into the whole history of what it's for and where the different layers are, but just the fact that it's being created and it does have use eventually is what I wanted to put out there.
Well, not only that, so what you were saying before between burning and putting it into the debt address, they're both two technically fundamental things that 1 and 2 can work together if you understand the wherewithal and how all these things come together. And I realize that it's very complex, but once you get it, it's very simple on how it cascades into your understanding. It's a Rosetta Stone to understand how real DeFi for all works outside of just liquidity pools or staking or yield, because anyone that came from the olden days barely understood what fiat is. Now we're trying to build on top of that in a cyclical circle of what loops and bindability are. And I know it's probably, again, too complex. So Giff, why don't you take over? You're better at speaking Larry than I am.
Well, I wanted to get the basics first before we get into in depth of any of the circular, mixings of the infrastructure that goes on here. I wanted to just say that the token that was created from the GIF token, the PGIF token, is actually going to mean something to your projects later on down the road. Am I correct?
100%, because we would never
let GIF jump in.
Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, I think there's some pretty amazing, if you can just kind of strip away the noise and just kind of look at the raw numbers. If there's any numbers guys out there, like you got to look at some of this stuff. It's kind of wild. So just to throw out one example, and stop me, RG, if I'm going too deep here, but let's just look at the simple example of there's 1 billion GIF tokens that were pre-minted and no more can ever be created, right? During the process of this minting process, you're sending some of that GIF token to the debt address, right? Which was since PulseChain was a solid state copy of Ethereum, the debt address was the original OG over on Ethereum, or at least all the Ethereum devs I talked to. That's what they tell me. So I went along with that, right? So it's depositing into this debt address, which you can see on chain that nobody has access to. So it's as good as burnt. That's important because we can do that with any token, right? Not all tokens are designed to burn. You have to hard code that in. Specifically, tokens that are brought across a bridge that are just a wrapped version. They are not designed to burn, right? So that's very interesting. What's also interesting is the ratio being a 1-to-1. Well, that insinuates that only 1 billion PGIF could ever come into existence, and that's if you burnt all of the GIF out of existence, right? Now we've got a third layer dimension that is takes it kind of to another level, which is the PGIF we designed to be burnt or deleted, so to speak. So the total amount of PGIF in existence can now no longer reach that 1 billion that we talked about previously because it's getting routinely burnt. So the moral of the story is this is a very interesting test. If you watch the numbers, the total amount of PGIF that has been burned to date, according to how much PGIF is in existence, is around 18%. And it's been hovering around 18%. Now, why 18%? Interesting stuff. I'll just leave you guys with the cliffhanger there.
So it really has been a big learning experience to watch the numbers and watch what you guys are doing here and see what I like about the protocol and how I'm seeing it now. I mean, it's got a lot more proofing to do. It's got a lot more social interaction to happen first before we'll actually see where this thing is going to go and what the true numbers are and how the market itself manipulates the technology. But it's interesting to see the way the value is being created by the token going in and coming out at a 1-to-1 and a fixed supply doing that. And where that fixed supply can go in the future, who knows? It might even create even more scarcity on the creation of this other token, and what that could mean for everything else out there, for new projects coming in, and instead of doing sacrifices or anything, or tax tokens or any of that kind of stuff. How about this? How about creating real value, putting real value into the machine, putting real value into the marketplace, and then spitting out a token that has a ratio that can be limited or continue to be cut down, or something else could come in and negate that token from inflating anymore. So it's very interesting to see where this tech's going to go. So I mean, there's other things that are that are doing kind of the same things, but not exactly what you guys are doing. So
what I think is interesting, what you're just tipping on the hat, Cap, is that everyone talks about like flat ratios, like market cap or fixed supply, but they don't understand what a fixed ratio within mechanics work on top of that. They look at like the soul where
it's not a liquidity pool ratio. You're talking about the ratios in the creation tech, right?
Well, we learned that with the OA, right? The OA obfuscated what a market cap is, because how much is actually liquid of that market cap? We see it from the access token. Now, when you're dealing with flat ratios with flat mechanics, now you're dealing with a different beast of animals all on top of each other. And I realize it's complex, but that's why you come to the Telegram and chat with us. So
real quick, Kool-Aid and GIF, I'll lay this on both of you. So this community understands Hex. A lot of them understand the depths of Hex and the OA and everything. Would you say that that process of sending to the burn address is kind of like an OA that really has no hands on it?
Yes.
So kind of taking Richard's concept and then using a tool instead, like I think one of the biggest chinks in Hex's armor, and I believe it to be a positive and not a negative. There's a negative narrative out there about the OA, but I have a positive narrative about the OA because I've seen what it's done and what it can do. So taking out the negative externality of the OA, which is Richard Hart owns the OA. That's the narrative, or a human being or a person or entity owns the OA. None of us really know because it's never been explained. But the OA exists, and it is like the Achilles heel of marketing because, hey, Richard has control of that is what everybody thinks. So there's this OA out there that does create value because it has a circulating supply. It locks up tokens. It gives the whole system stability. It's come in and created stability. But you guys have taken that concept and through the process of minting this other token, or let's call it creation, because I think you guys are have the vernacular is creation. So creating the token, the PGIF token, you've actually created kind of a reverse OA or a sealed off OA by putting these coins in this burn address, right?
Yeah. So the one thing I was trying to explain to Max when we had our one-on-one is he was talking about a double buy and burn, and it's actually not. It's a compounded buy and burn. I know this gets a little tricksy dixie when you get into it, because by interacting with one piece, right? Like to actually interact with the PGIF contract, each GIF that you send automatically gets sent to the debt address. So that means that its market cap is held just as the OA holds it.
So it doesn't hurt the market cap. It doesn't burn the tokens into non-existence. It sends them away in into an address that's never going to be able to touch them.
Handcuffed. It's a handcuffed address that can never do anything with it.
And it's still a metric as far as its market cap is concerned.
Correct. However,
now, do you think that in the future that coin ranking sites and stuff will, like they have done in the past with Richard's OA, do you think that they're going to eventually say, okay, we're not going to count the burn supply. We're just going to count the real circulating supply and call that the market cap?
It depends, because you have to have the other side of the coin, because what the genius in my better half of the coin gift did is, because we have one on one side, like one tick of the coin. On the other side, 90% of that economic energy goes in to create that other side of the coin. actually burns that token out of existence. It never existed.
Now you're talking about the PGIF being burnt, right?
Right. It burns. It actually
but it does go on the market and buys it. So it's supply that's already out there on the market.
Correct, because it's creation, not inflation. So you're creating the token, but then we're harvesting it and hard nuke burning it.
Not the token that you just created, but the token that's sitting on the market already.
No, yet you created the token already because to do it, right? Because you creation, not inflation. That PGIF gets nuked from supply. So it doesn't go to
no, wait. I want to make sure you're explaining this right. And I'm understanding it right, because when the person makes the token, their tokens don't get burned.
No, the GIF token does get burned. When you make
I said the PGIF, when they create the PGIF,
one GIF gets burned. For every one GIF that gets sent to create a PGIF, that GIF gets sent to the debt address. So that's the OA side of it. That's creating.
I understand that, but what you're saying is you keep saying that when that token is created, one is burned. It's not coming out of the creator's wallet. It's coming off of the market, correct?
The debt address.
GIF. What's that?
GIF. Go ahead and explain it better.
Okay, I think where the confusion is like, where does the PGIF come from? Like when it gets created?
No, the PGIF.
No?
I can understand that. That's a brand new token that just got minted. But the rest of the pulse that comes in is going to the marketplace and buying PGIF, correct?
Right. So that's
what I was trying to
buy and burn.
Kool-Aid was making it sound like that token was being burnt that they just created. It's not the created tokens that are burnt. It's tokens that are already on the market.
Right. It goes and finds the PGIF that's in the liquidity pools through a DEX aggregator, mind you, that has not been done before. It runs through an aggregator, so it pulls from all the pools, and then so it gets the best price or order execution, and then it runs the burn or deletes what it collects from the market. Yes,
there you
go. Which is
that's
the permable. Which is what I've coined the permable tokenomics.
So
I guess what we have to do is like we need to kind of separate the difference between buy and burn and buy and delete. Because now that we're having these conversations in real time, sometimes you have to change your vernacular, right? Because people understand buy and burn, but they don't understand where that burn goes. It's sent to the debt address, is actually deleted. And what PGIF gets is buy and deleted, removed. It never existed. Whereas
no, Larry, it did exist.
No, but it gets removed.
No, but what I'm saying is it did exist because it's on the marketplace. The contract goes. I want people to understand that the contract goes to the marketplace through a DEX aggregator, which has never been done in a contract before. So it goes to the marketplace and purchases already minted tokens that are on the market. Not tokens that are coming out of thin air just disappear that never were in circulation. These are circulating tokens that were on the market that are being pulled off the market and then sent to the burn address.
Correct. So I think what you're saying, which I didn't think that so the hedge where I think I just understood, if it's in your wallet, it doesn't get buy and burn. If you have LPs out there, what GIF has created is something that goes through and finds the best aggregator to pull what you have out of those LPs to buy and burn them and delete them. So it's not deleting them out of your wallet. If it's in your wallet, it can't delete them. It's your own sovereign property. DeFi
and they're not tokens that are being minted to burn. These are tokens that are sitting on the market that users have put LP up for.
Exactly. You decided to put LP out there. You decided to take we're changing the paradigm of what staking is, yield is, and inflation is. So yes, now I understand where you're coming from, RG. So,
I just want, because when I'm hearing you talk, I'm thinking like a dummy, like I don't know what's going on. And when you say things, I'm thinking, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, and I'm like, no, that's not right, because I do understand what you guys are doing, and that the permagif is what's really kind of the cream that's rising to the top of all this thing, is that the contract is using an efficient, the most efficient DEX aggregator out there to go and find those tokens at the best cost to burn them. And so it's being efficient, and it's doing this thing called permagif tokenomics, which is it's creating value in the token that you just bought by not only circulating pulse through the system and making that ecosystem better, but it's also using a DEX aggregator and helping all the LPs that are involved in there, purchasing that token off of the market and burning it, making the token that you just minted more valuable. So
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
just that's the perma bull, and I want people to understand that that's how simple it is. It's really the tech behind it. Oh my God, it's freaking really complicated. But what these guys have done is really just simple mathematics, simple. What makes a token valuable? What makes the number go up? And programming it into code so that everybody can go and look at it, see exactly what it's doing and why it's doing it, and then choose to use it or not. And that's what I want people to see is that I don't want the hocus pocus or in-depth diving. I want everybody to understand what the value of this thing is so that they can go take a look at it and either say shine it or support it, you know? And then of course the future's bright for what you guys can do with this. Cause I mean, I see the value in it. So, speak to that real quick, Larry.
Well, I'd rather have Gift go. You go because I can rattle on forever.
Oh man, you know, as you start deep diving a lot of this stuff, or as I've been deep diving a lot of this stuff, one thing I realize is especially when you're talking about different communities, like we all kind of want similar things. But because of like one little sticking point here or there, we all just decide not to talk to each other. It's kind of a little wild to me. But that being said, you know, the whole idea of doing all these experiments is to, in fact, run them on your favorite coins. So I would encourage everybody, you know, if you're just interested at all on how any of this stuff works, or just get in touch with the community, come over and talk to us. Because more than likely, your favorite coin might be on our target list. And then, you know, is that going to excite you if there's a protocol that wants to burn your tokens and we don't ask for a sacrifice and we don't give you this long-winded spiel of what our roadmap is going to look like and how we're going to change the face of crypto? No, we're just building. We're building, we're launching, and we're showing you how it works in real time.
And that's why I even got involved with you guys, because I don't get involved in any of these crypto projects. I have not got involved with them. I've spoke to everybody. I've given everybody a fair shot, to my own detriment, because I get called the guy that's shilling stuff all the time because somebody comes on my show. Look, guys, everything has been through here. Now these guys, the important part about why I'm even talking this in depth about another cryptocurrency versus Hex is because, and I spoke about Hedron this way too. I thought that Hedron was a beautiful proof of concept. I thought that what Alex was doing was fantastic. I thought that he had taken Richard's product and actually built on it and did something good. And that's what Richard was always saying. You guys go build things on this. I'm making things for you guys to build on. Can't wait to see what people do with Hex. And the other part is that I met Alex. I know who Alex is. Alex and I have become friends. He's supported things that I've done, like the movie, to an extent, an extravagant amount. I mean, he's helped, people, my people in this community, and he's also built good projects. So I said something then. Now with these guys, the same thing. I know these two gentlemen. I know them personally. They're my friends. We've worked together, and we're working together on other projects, not just this. So there's something to be said about the relationships that you create out here, the people that are getting involved and what's going on and how they conduct themselves. And the fact that they literally, we were talking about putting out this tokenomic protocol with a different platform. But then we said no. And GIF said, I want the protocol out there and working. I'll let the gearheads mess with it. I'm not going to tell the community about it. I'm not going to tell anybody else about it. I'm going to have a small little Telegram room that I'm going to operate. I'm going to put this thing out there. I'm going to let the smart guys mess with it. Why he let me tinker with it, I don't know, but I did. And, and that's what I think about, what they're doing here is that they're doing it the right way. And they've got tech that is exactly what DeFi was meant to do. DeFi was meant to give us the tools to make immutable contracts that interact with the narratives, with the sentiment, with the market dips and turns. And literally what they've done is they've created a permabull tokenomics where this thing continuously, the machine itself, just by using it, is creating more value for itself over and over and over again in not just one crypto's ecosystem, but in all, like 3 or 4 of them right here involved in, there's 3 of them involved in this, here. And to say that it, doesn't touch other things as it's going through the aggregator too, is saying that, hey, this thing is actually valuable for the whole system. And this may not be the only iteration of it. There's more iterations that can come and more value that can be added to this by building other things on top of it. And because of PulseChain, now we can do these things. And that's what I've always said, is that, Bitcoin, proof to concept, peer-to-peer transaction over the internet without an intermediary, securely, without a double spend. Good job, Satoshi. Next. Hey, Ethereum, smart contract. Now we could program that crypto to do smart things and cool things. Boom. They fucked up too. Thanks, but hey, your network sucks. Now here we have Hex. Now we have real DeFi. Now we have PulseChain. And now we have, ICOSA and Hedron. And now we have GIF and PermaGIF. Tokenomics, market being programmed, market sentiment, market attitudes, things being programmed into crypto that you can look at right in front of you and go, oh shit, this is what this thing is going to do. It's going to do all these good things out in the marketplace automatically without me even worrying about it. I know what it's going to do. Now, we always can never tell what people are going to do on the other side of the market when they start buying and selling, but that's up to the market. That's always been up to the market. The value of Hex hasn't changed, but the value of Hex has plummeted from its all-time highs. Why? Because it's a shitty product? No, because it's a product that people are speculating on and buying and selling, and the marketplace is the marketplace. It's going to determine price. But when you've got something good, when you've got tokenomics that make things do good things, now you got something to cook with. And I think that's why PulseChain was invented. So Let me pull up Bitfinesse's I don't know if it's really a question. It says, do you guys remember when the crypto market was telling Hexicans that Hex was too complicated? Do you think we're past that now? Has the general crypto market smartened up? Curious to hear your thoughts.
I have a really big problem with that because I don't explain it to people like I'm 5. But let's just go back to a simple thing that you and I were talking about earlier when you said that people were speculating. I like to go with the moniker simulation, not speculation. And what that is watered down is we are doing things in real time. You can see it in real time. You don't need a white paper. You don't need a roadmap. We already set it in stone that you can actually see what, air quote, the white paper or what our tenements or what our ideals are happening in real time. That when we build on it. Now, remember, if we go back to a T-share, proof of time. What did Kyle do? Kyle ran simulations. So that way the economics model would be apt. It would have tenement. Most people don't run simulations. And to do that, they have their sanity checks. They go through their check boxes, and the next day they do the checkbox. Next day they do the check boxes and see what happened in between the two. We can see this very interesting paradigm in between GIF and PGIF. And then, what we're talking about today is iBurn and how that will funnel back into that community. And guess what? When icosahedron gets rebooted or gets some gas in between it, the lawnmower gets pulled again, it also restarts Hex. It's very, very, very interesting when you start to look at how these correlated loops or systems work together. So again,
okay, let's talk about that real quick. So we've said a lot of names of a lot of different things that are going on here. I don't want to confuse people too much.
Should we show some graphs and flowcharts?
No, I don't want to do that yet either, especially
all right,
right
sir.
now.
All right,
I want to bring everything back to what we were here really initially to talk about. So your GIF token and your perma-GIF token were actually proof of concepts. You weren't looking for them to moonshot or be the end all be all. You did create the perma-GIF to be an infrastructure token for your later builds for things that you're going to bring. Explain what you're going to do with ICOSA, because you said the name already. You said iBurn. So from what I know, you guys are taking the ICOSA and turning it into this protocol, this PGIF protocol that you have. Can you explain what you guys are doing here and what that's going to look like?
GIF, go ahead.
Yeah, well, and this can kind of feed back with the previous question. I cut my teeth with Hedron, right? And that was right around the time that I decided to go like full time into software engineering and to kind of level up myself, right? So I sure hope that we're all getting a little bit smarter in crypto, but sometimes you gotta wonder, right? So your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, when we're talking about iBurn, right? This is called the ICOSA burn protocol. So it's just iBurn for short. We're trying to run a couple more simulations, right? Again, no sacrifice. You don't need to connect to adapt to prove that you own ICOSA or Hex or anything else. It simply is a protocol that is designed to do a couple things. One, we want to burn ICOSA. There's an interesting fact about ICOSA is that the staking pools have dried up, and the reason they have is because it's not so much that the auctions aren't going on, it's because the bootstrapped yield that Alex or the deployer put out there only lasted a year, right? So now what that means to us is that the inflation phase is over, more than likely. Though at least the massive inflation phase is over. So now let's see what happens when we start burning this. We're going to burn both ICOSA and the wrapped version of ICOSA from Ethereum. And they will be going to the debt address this time around. And that will, once you pay the protocol fee, that will allow you to mint the iBurn into existence. And there will be no pre-mints of iBurn as well, just like there was no pre-mints in PGIF. So we're going to see what happens when we burn it. We're also going to see what happens to the price between the two. See if we can't, put a lever in between and push the wrapped version closer to parity with the ICOSA version. This is something we've talked about in the ICOSA chats for quite some time, even before PulseChain even existed. We were talking about price parities. And wouldn't it be interesting if we were able to do that ourselves in this little microcosm of a community that we have? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully that was a good explainer for you.
So it yeah, you started to explain it to me. That here's my so you're saying it's going to burn ICOSA and PICOSA, right?
Right.
So do I have to get ICOSA and PICOSA in my wallet and inject them? How is it going to work that way?
You can have either. So it'll be your selection on the front end, the DApp that I've built. There is
Mhm,
just a little drop down box where you
mhm.
select which ICOSA you would like to use. And then when you
Oh,
select it,
so
it'll read that.
it's not both of them at the same time, but you can burn both of them.
which builds the
Correct.
floor and ceiling parity at the same time. So I just sent over SJ
Wait,
both
wait,
the
wait. Oh, hold on one second. Kool-Aid. I want to get the specifics here so that people can understand. So you can go to the site, the front end. There's going to be a front end this time. You're not going to have to go mess with the
Hey,
oh
listen,
gosh,
I was really tempted to have everybody, especially you, work the block explorer again, but
we're Block
it's
Explorer.
nice to see everybody level up from time to time, so I enjoy it. But no,
Uh,
we've got a DApp built this time, ready to go.
I almost broke a brain cell. I think I did. The brain cell. It's cracked anyway. So you're gonna have a drop down where I could either inject, and I like using that word because I want to make sure people understand that you're taking your tokens and putting them into a protocol. So I can either inject ICOSA or PICOSA as my burn token into the contract, correct?
Correct.
And not both of them at the same time, but one or the other, right?
One or the other. Yep.
Okay, one or the other. Okay, so I can put my PICOSA or my ICOSA in there, and when I get my stakes out, I can go and inject them both. Now it's going to be a pulse that goes in on the other side of it, correct?
That's correct.
So then you're going to inject your pulse. At what ratio will you be putting pulse in for ICOSA?
So right now we have it earmarked, and this is subject to change, but we have it earmarked for 1,500 pulse per ICOSA, no matter which one you
Mhm.
put in. And the reason is that's roughly the value of the native ICOSA on PulseChain, or the P ICOSAs, as you're calling it.
So if those change at all as far as their value goes, the ratios may change before it launches.
Only if it's a drastic change. Yeah, if
Okay.
there's a overnight pump, then we will make some last minute adjustments. But once we make the adjustments, it's all hard coded and immutable, and we won't be able to change it.
Okay. So then from there, the ICOSA or P ICOSA gets burnt and sent to the burn address, and then the pulse that goes in goes up to the market and buys ICOSA on both sides, or it's going to pull it
So
from the pulse side, the wrap version, and the P ICOSA.
so this is where we're trying something a little new here too. We got
Okay.
to plug in as many new tests as we can. We got to find what the sweet spots are.
Simulation.
So
Okay.
correct. So what we're going to do is, this time around, we're going to take 15% of all the pulse that comes in, and we're going to inject it into the permagif buy and burn.
Oh,
So now the
interesting.
permagif buy and burn is going to be fueled by 2 different sources instead of just one. And then the other 85%, that will be used to buy iBurn off the market and delete it, or
So are
burn it.
you okay?
Fine,
Okay,
right.
wait
So
a second. Now.
one
Wait a
point,
second. Go ahead, Kool-Aid.
the one thing I want you to remember is we started out with one PGIF for one pulse. It is now 34.5 pulse per PGIF. And then the ceiling is 10 pulse on top of it in a flat ratio, which wasn't even introduced for 2 months after. So I want you to take that thought component in your head, whether you understand it or not, while you're understanding the rest of it. Go ahead, Cap.
Because it's going up in value as it's being created. Gotcha. So okay, that's interesting. So now these protocols, as you attach them to other, can actually go in and start creating more value on top of PGIF. Uh, so now it's helping the other ecosystems, like I talked about earlier. ICOSA, the PulseChain itself by volume and all of that. Burning the ICOSA, pushing the value up on ICOSA on both sides, and also the pulse that's spent is buying off of the market. Now this is going to actually inject into that, and so permagif is going to be getting a boost like every time this protocol gets rolled out, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to get fed from 2 different angles, and
or 3 or 4 or
this
5 or 10 or 20 or 100.
very
100.
well, very well could.
100.
Okay, now I'm a little more excited now about PGIF. I thought, okay, cool. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna get weird about it, but I mean, that's interesting, and very, very cool at the same time. So that's the only real difference in the protocol, is that there is going to be instead of going to the marketplace and buying all of the ICOSA with the pulse that goes in, a percentage of it, 15% of it, is going to go to buy permagif and burn it, right?
Well, the only difference is the other one had the GIF OA. So the GIF OA goes through GIF and PGIF. This time, everything else that shards off of the original Gifford technology goes to funnel into PGIF to add to that smashing machine, right? And because of that, anything that's built on Gifford technology will have that same wherewithal of the forward and backwards of the machine that we're building. So this is the second leg of the stool that we have. We have many other ideas. Again, this is experiments in real time, simulation.
Yeah. So, okay. This question goes back to something that you said earlier, Kool-Aid. So if you have GIF, you need to swap it for PGIF. It's not really a swap. It's injecting it into a system that burns it. So you're not swapping it. You're burning it, and then the PGIF token is created from that burning protocol, doing that with the GIF token. So I can answer that part of it. But here's the longer you wait, the more pulse it costs to swap it. Now, explain the ratio and why it changed GIF, and what market feature changed that, because you just made a statement. You said Well, I mean, Kool-Aid did, I think, where the ratio was a certain point, and now there's a bigger ratio of pulse to creation. Could you explain that? What you meant by that? Because I think that's what he's getting at.
I mean, the
Yeah,
ratios. Go ahead, Giff.
yeah. I think we were just talking about the iBurn side of things, and that can
Mhm.
kind of confuse, what GIF and PGIF kind of do on their own, like the way they stand alone. So the important thing to remember is that you don't need to swap your GIF for PGIF. You don't need to mint PGIF using GIF. The cool part is part of this simulation is there's a reason why I chose to use a token that was a run-of-the-mill meme token generated with a smart contract where all your guys' favorite memes are generated in the similar fashion, is because we're trying to use any token and put some real mechanics, like some real game mechanics on it, some real tokenomics behind it, without you needing to do anything. All you need to, if you're interested, if you want a piece, if you want to interact with the smart contract, so to speak, you can just hold one or the other. It really doesn't matter, and you don't have to worry
Or buy
about
them
doing
on the
anything.
market, or just buy them on the market.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely.
Let me address this last part here one more time, because I think that Ted was looking for an answer to this question. So the longer you wait, the more pulse it costs to swap. No, Ted, that's not the case. I think what Larry was saying is that the value of PGIF to pulse has started to separate. So it's more pulse to PGIF on the chart. They've spread apart from each other where they were 1-to-1. Now Larry says, well, what did you say it was?
Well, it's creation, not inflation. But the difference is that if you look at what the utility is of
No. The value of PGIF in pulse terms is, I think that's what you were saying earlier. That question there, they've started to PGIF has gotten more value in pulse terms, right?
Well, both of them have. Both. You should never look. Actually, I've got a pretty interesting chart right now up. If we want to share it, if we want to take the ratio.
No, I want to talk about the market, Larry. I want you to
okay.
answer his question that you made a statement before. You said that PGIF was a 1-to-1 when it first came out, and now it is like
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I want that question answered.
Yeah. Now I see what you're saying. So at the beginning, when we set the flat ratio, I mean, again, it's all GIF's ideals, but I mean, it's important to understand what a flat ratio is. When GIF launched the meme coin without sharing, even with us core, he's like, by the way, Kool-Aid, I did this, and yeah, I know you're on a call with your boss.
I'm still here, but I don't know what happened.
But yeah, so like I did this. I'm like, Jesus, GIF. All right, let me figure this stuff out. And I didn't even get to a chance to circle back because I was doing some other stuff for us for the Pulsar side. But it was important for us to understand that one GIF for one pulse was the start. And now one GIF, if you look at it in pulse terms, is 34.77 pulse per GIF. And because you're looking at it as in pulse per GIF, the same way you're looking at it as perma-GIF as pulse per GIF on the ceiling aspect of it, right? So you have,
but the burn feature doesn't change. It's still
flat
10 pulse for one GIF. That's the question.
Correct. Flat.
Does that change? I think that's what Ted was trying to ask. Is now it costs more pulse per GIF to burn? No, it's still the same ratio in the burn feature, but the value of them have started to separate as far as PGIF is becoming more valuable in pulse terms than it was when it started.
What's interesting, if we really want to take it 2 steps further, sorry if I'm getting ahead of myself.
I want to go 2 steps further. I want to answer that question first, and then we can move on.
Sure.
That is a yes, right?
Yeah, it's flat ratio, 10 pulse. But like that's how we can see.
I'm talking about the second part of the question. Looking at the market, the fact that they are separating from each other, where it's PGIF is worth more pulse than it was to start. That's true, right? That's where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the answer that I think you're looking for. Now go ahead and expound upon it. That's okay. I just want to make sure we got that answered before we started getting into something else.
Sure, it's just a flat ratio, and I think that's one thing that you have to understand what we're doing. We're looking at Pulsar, PGIF, iBurn, is that we're using flat ratios for a reason, because we're starting at where the floor is and when we start something, so you can see how it extrapolates on a bonding curve forward. GIF, is that the better Blair ease on how to explain that?
Sure, yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to make things more extreme, if you go back and you look on that PLS chart for GIF, it actually started at a tenth of a PLS. So it went from a tenth of a PLS to 34. So pretty impressive stuff. But it's wild. It's wild how this stuff can move.
I mean, if we're
But
not wicking down, it's what, 12,000%, or 12,000% up. But I mean, that's
So-
silly.
up there.
So that's kind of like, so what the tokenomics that you've created here are almost like creating an automatic and instant ARB opportunity. Is that what's going on here?
Right.
GIF?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's not just making value of all the things that I said were valuable, like, moving volume on the Pulse chain, creating a token and burning it, buying a token off of there, burning that. So not only creating all that value there, but now because of the ratios and the value of the token and how what all of that has created, you've now created an automatic ARB opportunity where people who understand arbitrage can literally go in there and just keep rinsing and repeating as they see the ratios getting to a certain point.
Yes, and this would be a good time, and we're not going to expound too much. I'll keep it super short, but
Yep.
this is where we can kind of talk about ICOSA too, on where this arbitrage idea came from. So this
Yes.
is definitely tipping the hat to Alex and what he made over there, because he knew that once making a protocol that would always provide liquidity is the way that he used to put it. Like you could always get liquidity out of an HSI by turning it in for ICOSA. So
Mhm.
his process of doing that created this price ceiling for ICOSA. So we saw it in the first week or so, maybe a little bit more, where it would break through that ceiling price of, I think at the time, I don't know why, but 33 hex per ICOSA for some reason kind of stands out to me. But whatever it was a moving ceiling, right? So when it would break through that, then certain individuals could jump on, buy some hex off the market, make it a Quattro Cinco HSI stake, and then sell it to the protocol for ICOSA, and they will have gotten more value in ICOSA than what they put in the beginning, right?
Yes.
So when they sell the ICOSA, it brings that price back down to the ceiling point. And then they stop arbing when it hits that ceiling, because if it goes below that and you arb, you're actually losing money, right? So there's no reason to do that. So a lot of times when people think about arbitrage, they think about a bad actor essentially taking advantage of the system to make money for themselves, like extract value, kind of like a bot, like the trading bots that you see all the time,
Yeah.
right? But in
Well,
fact, in this
oh.
scenario, I was just going to finish up real quick. In fact, in this scenario, especially with let's just focus on the ICOSA scenario. You're forcing the arbitrager to lock up Hex, the token that we all love, and stake it for Quattro Cinco, and then throw that HSI up into an auction 90 days later, right? So it's benefiting the whole system. That arbitrage helps the system. It doesn't hurt the system. They're not extracting value out of it. That is what is so fascinating to me. So the only minor adjustment, obviously, that we made is we kind of stick to this mantra of no leaky ship. So that's why it's not easy to get any of our tokens. It's very difficult and it frustrates people because of it. But what's good for the protocol is good for everybody. Hopefully that makes sense.
That's 100%, because if it's good for the protocol, it's good for the user. If it's good for the user, it's good for the chart. And eventually, ideally, we teach people why that is.
So just to let everybody know, arbitrage isn't a new term. It's not a new thing in crypto. This happens in real world value all the time, in real finance. The opportunities out there are, few and far between, and only the really, really in folks know how to trade like that through arbitrage. But again, arbitrage is now being programmed into a system to help benefit it. That's the cool thing that's going on here with PulseChain, guys. See, here's the other. These things were known before. This isn't like new stuff. The only reason they haven't been implemented yet or put into a contract together yet is because people weren't able to do it because it costs too much money to deploy on Ethereum, these types of systems. Now, literally in real time, because of how inexpensive it is to put these protocols out and to utilize them, these guys have it out there running and doing its thing because of PulseChain, because it's cheap to operate and function on. So we got to look at the beauty of that, because what we said a long time ago when Richard started talking about PulseChain, and this is what my words were, is that you guys just wait and see what people build on PulseChain, because they can, and because they know when I talk to people like Kool-Aid and GIF, and these guys know what this stuff is. Now, these guys probably never did it in the real financial world, all of these things, but by looking and dissecting the stuff that they're digging into in crypto, they're creating things that are sentiment, insider stuff, all that stuff that's going on in the stock market. These guys are figuring it out because they're watching the flow of value moving and how you can take these tools and see. Here's the thing, and it's just like what happened with Dev Kyle. See, these guys are looking at ways. How can we make money in crypto? How can we make a crypto make money? How can we make a crypto more valuable? How can my thing be better than everything that's out there? And it's through this process right here that all the good stuff's coming. There was a guy named Mike, and he was in the Hex Telegram rooms. And when they first came out with the Hex protocol and said that it was going to be a fix, they had this interest rate thing and all this stuff. This very, and I'm not going to call him smart, I'm going to call him intuitive. He was one of the gambler types. He's like the guy you see at the cigar at the racetrack, right? And I actually even met him. But he told the whole chat room, he said, you guys are going to lose your asses staking those 15-year stakes, because I'm going to be dumping on your head every single month because I'm getting the same interest you guys are getting. And I'm going to watch the value token go up and boom, boom, boom. And Dev Kyle heard and saw this guy's message and looked at it and said, oh my God, he's right. He's absolutely right. The degens are going to, I can't just trust everybody to do the right thing here. The degens are going to eat this thing alive. It's not going to work. And guess what it made him do?
Carrot and stick.
Made him go back to the drawing board and create the T-share. The most wonderful thing that we've all ever seen is the T-share. And it's through that type of behavior and that type of attitude and understanding of markets and finance that are creating these tools that these guys are putting in code now. So I like to look at it like that. Like, you guys are looking at ways to make money better, to make money do all the good stuff that goes on out there. You can literally program all the bad stuff out of money and finance. Literally program it out. And that's why DeFi is so important. That's why DeFi is going to take off, because people are going to see this. People are going to start to understand that they can put their value in here and just churn it to make more and more value. A lot of these communities that are building things similar to this, they're calling it the never-ending money glitch or whatever it is that they're calling it. No, it's just good financial, what would be the word? It's just good. It's good, solid metrics being programmed into it. Stuff that happens in the real market that's good, that's not bad, is what's making the whole thing turn. So right on, right on.
Well, what I love about what you were just saying there, Cap, is like what Kyle did is, because you have Jeets and you have degens and you have all the rest of that, you have to build a carrot and stick mentality. You have to build something that rewards people for doing something well and punishes the bad word, but it has a result based on what you do. And that result should be based on knowledge and understanding how the system works. Now, what GIF has created builds a different metric between the creation, not inflation, simulation, not speculation, but also how the primary token gets sent to the debt address. The other one gets deleted from the supply. You can't cheat the system, especially as more things get compounded against it, because it will leave you in the dirt. The same way that Kyle did systemic design to build the T-share component of carrot and stick. And that's so fascinating as someone that does this for a real-time living. I absolutely love this. And it's so important for us as teachers of our community. Each one teach one. right? To actually understand these kind of metrics.
Right on. Well, next question real quick before we got to turn this off. We can't be giving too much away. You guys can come back on and talk a little more. But launch, do you guys have a launch date for the iBurn?
I don't have a specific launch date yet, but it'll be soon. Everything's pretty much a go.
2 more weeks.
Not a
Is that
whole
what
lot left
are
to
we telling
do.
everybody 2 more weeks?
Let me think here. 2 more weeks. No, it's not going to take that long. Let's
really?
1 week. Yeah.
Really?
1 to 2 weeks.
Are you the first dev that is actually going to say 1 week?
Hey, let's be fair. He's on vacation right now, and he has earned that.
Oh, wait. So 6 months from now, he's on vacation right now, and you're talking about a launch?
Yeah.
Come on. I know devs, guys. I know devs. Don't tell me you're going to launch something in a week and you're on vacation. Or maybe is that why you're on vacation? You're done?
That's right.
Yeah, now you're getting it.
That's right.
Oh. So Ryan asked, what's launching? What we've been talking about for the last half hour or so. So Ryan, there is going to be a token called iBurn coming out. I'm going to pull up your chart, Larry, here, so you can kind of go over it real quick. Eximofo says 6 more weeks. The most is 1 week. Don't tease me. He's got a cat of nine tails slapping himself and hitting himself over the head with a board in his room right now.
He's also one of our best mods. So like him and Elite are the best.
Cool. Yeah, the Mo. I've seen him in there. In fact, he's the guy, right, that taught me how to interact with the contract. Right?
That is right. The Mo is the first person to actually get in there and teach all of us how to be smart contract efficient or smart.
You can still, even though the front end's up, you can still do that, right? I mean, you can go in there and so, okay, check this out, guys. So, gosh, I don't know if I should say this or not. Anyway, if you want to play with a real live smart contract and figure out how to use it, if you go to their TG room, you can look. If the captain did it, you can do it too. So I went in there, opened the contract, followed the instructions. The Mo actually did like a video instruction. They've got it pinned up in their room, and you can see how to interact with the contract. I'd be careful though. Very smart folks only, because you could really mess things up for yourself. So anyway, use the front end if you want to play with it. But for those of you who are savvy, maybe you might want to go check it out. It's in the room there. Should I have not said that, guys?
No, but it's fair. We teach people why, not what to buy. It's been my tenement from forever. And same thing with gifts, same thing with you.
I don't want anybody to get messed up or anything.
No.
As you're interacting with the contract, be very, very careful. Make sure you know what you're doing. And the Mo left a very, very specific instructions on how to interact with the contract on the Block Explorer.
It's zero complex problems. If you dealt with Ether Delta days, so you mess up on 1.0, it is what it is. So if you're going to do something on a smart contract, deal with it where you don't have other numbers that confuse you, because like I'm not a math guy. Gift's the math guy. I'm the spatial fractal guy. So as long as I can copy pasta the amount of things I need and then add a 0, I'm good. But the front end handles all that for you.
Yeah, the front end's cool if you want to just go in there and use the protocol. But if you really want to do it, you can go in there. Yeah, with a clean, safe wallet. Do not be punching your wallets into things.
To 100.
When I went and played with the contract myself, I created a brand new wallet, opened up a Trezor, put it on a new Trezor, and used that. And please, guys, something we should address real quick while we're still here before we close out. The amount of hacking that's going on out there, and not even phishing attacks. These guys not only phishing you, but they're hacking into your computers by you downloading things and giving access. Don't give access to anybody. Keep your pants zipped up. Keep prophylactics on when you are out there doing stuff. Use a hardware wallet because it's dirty out there right now. You want to keep yourself away from everything unless you absolutely 100% trust it. Please use hardware wallets when you trust, and use new wallets when you're playing with any of these new protocols or whatever.
And use a condom wallet, right? Use a condom wallet to actually connect into your hardware wallet. And then from there, send from your proprietary wallet.
Wait. What do you mean a condom wallet on top of your
so a condom wallet is going to be like, I'm going to make a new wallet and not care what the seed words were. And then from there, I'm going to add a hardware wallet. So that way, if it's actually interjecting into what my MetaMask is on my computer, it's not a real wallet. Because
but you can create the seed words right from the Trezor too, and that never touches.
But that's in. I want to connect a hardware wallet to my thing. The first MetaMask part of it is what is my default MetaMask thing. Because when I get done with my day, I'm just going to go to add account, remove hardware account, and it's done. And the wallet that's there is a condom wallet. It is literally, it doesn't matter to you at all. It is just your access to MetaMask.
Oh yeah, your entry, yeah.
So
it's the one you use. You don't have anything on it, yeah. So your MetaMask, he's saying have a clean MetaMask that you interact with.
Sure, 100. And then from there, add your hardware wallet. From there, use a secondary wallet from your hardware wallet to do what you do. Yep.
Internet money.
100.
I like internet money wallet. Okay, so let's go ahead and burner wallet, Heximofo says. Hardware wallets 100%. Yep. I want to make sure everybody understands security and conducting themselves in a safe manner, especially when doing things like interacting with contracts. Because like you were saying earlier, remember in the old days when we have to go get our ICO coins, you had to interact with the Explorer, the block Explorer versus
my Ether Delta or my
Ether Delta.
Yeah, no, my Ether Delta and then Mu. It was a nightmare back then. 1-0 and it fucking always just gone.
It was. Anything you guys? So we could see this within a week or so. It's going to take ICOSA and do what we said. Is there anywhere GIF for anybody to see or review the contract before it launches?
On the contract, let's see. Not really. Nobody's really asked to see either,
they're going to
beforehand or like ask for like a repository, that sort of a thing. Obviously all of our code is verified on chain. So anybody can go through and look through all of our code. And the code on so people that are interested in looking at the code, obviously you guys are the same people that go through and you read, at least do a once over on any code before you interact with it on the first time. And I would definitely encourage anybody to do that. And if anybody has questions, jump in our chat, say what's up. If you want a easy downloadable version, let me know. I'll send you over some. Just let me know which smart contract you're looking at.
Okay, you heard that, guys. Go into the Telegram room, and that is GIFFORDwear, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's SJ's got it inside the. It's GIFFORDwear.win. That's the website. That's where the protocol is being talked about. That's also where you can see Mo's instructions. And I'm sure once this comes out, it will be launched with a front end, right? It's not going to have a contract interaction point. Okay, cool.
And then
real quick, be good to go. And then I was probably going to say the same thing, but yeah, Crypto Elite came in late. What's up, dude? He's probably so mad.
No, he's the best. We're actually going to rename him Rose, so that way he can be the other Rose.
Those two guys are your most active in your chat rooms, is Elite and the Mo. Those guys.
Yeah, between Pulsar and Gift Tech, remember that's both the same as far as the people making it. It's just different ideals on what we're doing. And then what Maximus J and I are doing is we're going to start going and clipping a whole bunch of stuff, so that way you can get the short and curlies without having to listen to the whole thing, but then it'll be linked back to the full conversation. So that way, if you're hungry for the full meat and potatoes, the whole appetizer and full meal, you can get it all together. So that way you can slowly level up all the nonsense we talk about.
Right on. All right, gentlemen. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick here.
So let's start
I'm going to put this workflow up here so that you can screenshot it or pause it later, guys. We won't get too deep into it. I'll let Kool-Aid kind of go over it real quick, but
sure.
we'll just want to put it up here for the record so everybody can pull it up and see it. And do you guys have this workflow pinned in your Telegram room?
Sure is.
Okay, so it's in the Telegram, and that's GIFFORDwear, WEAR.win. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, if you look at this is a very simple simulation of what we were doing. So you're taking GIF to PGIF, and you can see on the right hand side with the gear. So scoot your over to the top, right next to where the user is, and the user is going to take GIFFORDwear and Pulse to mint permagif. And what that's going to do is put it into the flywheel, and the flywheel is going to take 10 Pulse per GIF at a 1-to-1 ratio, renounced immutable contract, and you can see that the GIF goes on the left-hand side down to the dead address. We can see that 10% of the Pulse goes to the GIF OA. No worry about whatever happens with that, but 90% of that goes to the permagif buy and burn smart contract. And through that smart contract interaction at the very bottom, you see that the GIF is awarded to the user. Now, from there, Gifford is brilliantly designed PETITION to go through all the different liquidity pools to find all the GIF that's available, or PGIF that's available, to be buy and burned with that 90% economic energy that was put into it. And that GIF is fully deleted, not sent to the dead address, not still counted as market cap, fully deleted. So let's take this next scenario. SJ, can you pop to the next one?
I don't think you have a next one down there.
And she should have the iBurn one because it's very similar, but what it's doing is vastly different to rubber band the machine. And so GIF and PGIF has one seesaw that's working together, which is a fantastic and interesting simulation. Now what we're doing is bringing a different token that has a lot of, let's call it appeal and salute to, because
and value behind it.
Beyond, because if you can strike ICOSA's value to go up, now the ICOSA, both eICOSA and PICOSA, because we're actually doing this as an interesting experiment between creating parity between the two. Now the auctions could go off again. All sorts of very interesting things that we're trying to, again, experiment in real time simulation, right? We want to actually bring our tech to you without promise of expectations, without promise of SAC, without promise of we don't know what we're talking about. We're actually showing you what we're talking about in real time, because that's how you do things. That's how Dev Kyle did it. That's how anyone that's doing a real-time simulation to send a rocket to the moon would do it. That's how a game dev would do it. We would actually run these simulations and data points together to see a machination if it would work. And what iBurn is going to do is use the same simulation, but that pump that wherewithal back to GIF. I've got it up on my end if you want me to try to share, if you want to let me up, SJ.
You gotta put it up there.
Yeah, I can. One second. Screen. All right.
Question was, is the ICOSA that's wrapped on PulseChain, is that already that's already a thing, right?
It's either. You can do either what you want.
Yeah,
I think the question is
one. So
is it there? Is it there?
Yeah, yeah, and the correct verbiage, if you're looking like on contracts, it's always from Ethereum. So it's ICOSA from Ethereum is what it's specifically called, along with the native token. But yeah.
Right.
So that's how you can tell, folks. Sometimes it, like, it won't say W or P or whatever. It'll say, like in Hex's case, it says Hex from Ethereum, which is the wrapped version on the PulseChain.
Correct. So this simulation right here says that what we already saw from GIF to PGIF, how it went from 1 pulse for 1 GIF up to 34 pulse per GIF and 44, I believe, right now for PGIF. We're doing the same thing, except we're actually adding 15% of that goes directly, not to an OA address, just to the PGIF buy and burn contract. So we're compounding, and again, tip of the hat to Crypto Durpin, Burton, our best UI UX guy for all of this art and all the rest of that stuff. But again, it's working off the exact same synopsis that we did before. But the floor address, again, all this is ratio to change till we put the final linchpin in it and send it off on its way. It's 1,500 PLS per ICOSA. And we're doing ICOSA as in the native PulseChain ICOSA, which means that if you were wherewithal, we're not going to go into the deep dive. That's for the RH Max stream on what that means. You're a smart person. Enjoy. So 85% of that goes to the iBurn smart contract. And then from there, iBurn gets fully deleted. So it's the exact same wherewithal on how all the rest of it, but it reflexively also affects the system before it, which is going to be, you know, the GIFFORDwear chart. Yeah, so they're built on the same legs, the same paradigms, and the same utility.
Right on, gentlemen. Well, I appreciate you both coming on and explaining, and we probably got a little deeper than there's going to be a lot more questions and answers, but guys, you can go to their TG room on GIFFORDwear, WEAR, and that's .win. And you can go to their Telegram room, join that, and kind of see what's going on in there. You know, what I've liked the whole time about what you guys are doing is, you know, first of all, being friends with you guys, watching you put the work in, watching you do this stuff in the background, watching you go through the dev challenges and working with devs and getting things created. And then I like your Telegram room too. Your Telegram room is just full of people that are trying to understand it. It reminds me of the old days without the pump and dump rooms. Like people were actually in there trying to do things. It reminds me of the ICOSA and Hedron rooms. There were a lot of people in there, just brains trying to get things, you know, working, giving suggestions. So if you guys want to go to a good old fashioned freaking, we're in it for the tech room, that's where you go, is into the GIFFORDwear.win room, because they're really talking about, if you're a crypto geek, if you're a developer type, or if you want to learn or talk or get into conversations with people about technology, about crypto technology, that's where you want to go, is in that GIFFORDwear room. That you're not going to see them shill anything. They're not going, oh yeah, you got to go over here and buy this, or they're not creating subgroups where they got another Telegram over here, and then they're going into that room and tell people to buy and sell and all that other bullshit. None of that crap. These guys are in for the tech. They're trying to make things work, and they're using PulseChain to do it. So it's been a breath of fresh air working with you guys and being part of it and watching it happen. So
it's
hats
very
off,
homely
guys.
too. Yeah, it's
Great
very
work.
homely. And again, thank you, Captain. Like you are the reason why a lot of us are here. So again, tip of the hat to you and Discourse Syndicate and everything you've done. We wouldn't be here without you and the effort that you've been consistently putting in every day for almost 4 years. So we try to make a very homely room on what we're doing for people to actually ask questions, have value, teach, and all the rest of it. But I mean, it's still an echo to what you've always done, my dear friend Fire. My captain, your captain, the Captain RG3.
Thanks for having us on, Captain.
Thank you. If you have fun in Mexico, but not too much fun. I don't have to
No
worry about
promises.
you. You're married with kids, so you're gonna be all right.
That's
There's
right.
probably too much wine, fall asleep on the lounge chair, and get a sunburn. That's probably about as bad as it's gonna get for you.
Nailed me. Nailed me.
Now, had it been another time, maybe, you know, we can gone down there, end up in a Tijuana prison somewhere or something. But yeah, that's not what
Larry proof. Nope. Larry proof.
All right, gentlemen, thanks for coming. Guys, if you have, like I said, you have any questions, all the links and descriptions will be below, and we'll catch you guys on Wednesday, where literally my team, who these guys are involved. Wednesday, we're going to be speaking with the head and founding designers of a lot of the artwork that was on Blizzard Entertainment's games, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, you name it. Those guys worked on all of the top projects, and we've teamed up with them to bring their project that they've already put together. They had this project put together before. They just couldn't deploy it on any of the garbage blockchains that are out there, and now they can. So we've literally brought a guy by the name of Samwise Didier and a guy named Paul Lyman. And these guys are top of the tops in the video game industry. They've created an awesome entertainment gaming platform, and we get to talk about that on Wednesday. And then on Friday, it's going to be a big launch for that whole project. So with the Tang Gang. So anyway, with that, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks for coming, fellas. We will see you. Bye. Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. The fundamentals of the code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. This staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things.